All right, guys, we are closing up for the night, getting ready to head out, but we got a lot accomplished with this thing tonight. We got the, there was a bulb blown up there. We're working on, I got to get this guy replaced for the turn signal. But as you guys will be able to see, look at that. We have lights. We have all of the lights. The only thing we don't have is going to be reverse lights because there is no, there's no connector for the sensor. So I got to figure that out. But we do have all of this. I'm going to turn on the dome light. The back there, we have everything. All the brake lights work as well. That top one, like I said, we did have to replace that. So, besides that, let me turn all that stuff off. We have the sensor extended for the oil pressure, and everything's all good there. This should be, if not the last video, the second to last video. So everything's been figured out wiring wise except for the instrument cluster. We're still figuring that out. I've put it up in the air. I've made it. I don't know why that's a cargo light. I've even put in the back wheels up in the air, and I let it drive like 5-10 mile an hour, and the speedometer did not change. I fixed the tachometer, the tone ring, and that did not fix anything. It's close enough now that everything should reading. So somewhere along the lines, we're having an issue back there with it not reading. But we need to get that replaced, and then that's bada bing done, working. We'll have everything, minus this stuff's not hooked up. I don't know what the plans are with that, but that's for this stuff here. Get those parts ordered. We need a bulb, we need an oil pressure sensor, and we need an oil pressure sensor adapter. You guys will see right there, that's a 12 valve sensor, and we need a common rail sensor. So we'll get that all swapped out. Then we're good to go. So I don't know why the views on this thing aren't doing as well. I mean, this is a pretty cool build. It's a 12 valve with a G56, big mud tires, aftermarket wheels. You know, it's a genuinely cool off-road build. It just has its electrical problems that we are situating through. Wonder why I sound the way I do. This is why I'm getting ready to head out, take the bike. So it's my daily driver. She stole the Dakota from me. So, but yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow for an update on this thing. All right, next day. Nice day out today, actually. So we did go and get, which I'm going to tidy it up once there's the oil pressure sensor. I'm going to tidy all that up as soon as the new sensor comes in, the sensor adapter. So we got to remove that adapter like I was saying yesterday. Pull that out, put the adapter in, put the new sensor in, bam. Now we have an oil pressure gauge. We did go this morning and pick up a new bulb. So you can see we have a marker light and all that. The main thing, what led to the PCM and the TIPM was after replacing all of the wire harnesses in here and this thing having a gnarly parasitic draw, and then that with the whole bus issue. Now that everything's fixed, all the wires under the under here are all fixed. It kind of leads you to like, why is this still not working? Especially if it was a good running vehicle beforehand. Even with my new cluster, it didn't work. So we also have not only that, but we have some other gauges to be installing. We have a boost gauge and an EGT gauge, so we need to get those installed as well as verify that the alternator is charging, and then make sure that we put in the pressure sensor back into the PCM. So little things here and there, but we're going to check, get this thing fired up, see if the alternator is charging. If it is, we don't have to do anything. If it is not, then we need to add an external voltage regulator. All right, so as you guys can see, we are not charging. Now, even without the instrument cluster working, it still should be charging. Most of the time, the external voltage regulator is the simplest option for this setup. So I'm going to start looking into that, making sure that the alternator was actually wired correctly. I'm going to go and flip the wires around real quick and see if that fixes them, because like this whole thing was thrown together before it was known that it worked. So I'm going to switch those wires. If it doesn't fix the problem, then we're going to have to do an external voltage regulator. So I've noticed on some of these, some of them work with the PCM and some of them don't. So my truck worked with the PCM for about a year, And then I had to get an external voltage regulator. Not sure what the deal is, but it's super simple, quick fix. So I'm gonna leave, you guys can see these two wires here. These were from the factory connector. So I'm gonna leave these two wires as is. I didn't crimp the other side yet. I wanna verify that the PCM is actually reading the tack signal, and if it is and it's not charging, then we know we need the external voltage regulator. If it is not, then we need to figure out why it's not reading it. So also a lot of this stuff kind of in the way, needs a good mounting point, doesn't really help. All right, so I'm not sure if I explained this initially or not, but when this truck came in, it was supposed to be a, you know, quick in and out, day in the shop. Gauges weren't hooked up because none of the sensors were hooked up. Great, hook the sensors up, go. It was not supposed to be a huge electrical thing like this. Like this actually came as a surprise. Otherwise, I probably never would have touched it. But as of now, everything works besides the gauges. And since nothing is doing what it's supposed to do, we're going to be putting in an external voltage regulator just in case, because I know guys talk shit about these. These things are actually not that bad at all. They're cheap. I got about 1.5 years out of my one. So we're going to be installing one of these, just like we did on the other 03. And then here you can see we got the nice pigtail. It's going to be grounded right to the top of this bracket, same place we put it before. We got little spacer plates for it. So we'll get all that hooked up, make sure that the alternator is charging, and we will go from there. This is project number 2. How much of that you cut off? Oh, I see where it's
split. It'll actually slide right over that pretty far in if I can get it hot enough.
4-inch diesel straight pipe on a Hemi. Cut that down.
Pretty hot.
Get the light on in here. A little bit of heat. Went right over. Make sure we're straight. We are, for the most part. Might be a little slighted towards the end, but that's better than... That's perfect.
I think if you pull down a little bit, pull down a smidge, it's not lined up with the frame. It's shooting towards the air. A little bit.
We'll get it.
Yeah. That's fine. All right.
Sweet. This poor block of wood's seen better days. Alright, here's where we left off with this one. We got this guy mounted here all nicely. 2 bolts grounded to the top of it. Everything's loomed. Intake's back on. We have our batteries up at 1264. I'm going to get this thing started and make sure that we have alternator charging. Alright, let's go check our multimeter. That's not good. Too high. Try this again. There's a wire on the ground that should not have been a ground. Well, it should have, just not in that spot. So. Whew. Didn't like that sound. That's a lot better. Exhaust temp. Yep, I'm happy with that. All the factory wiring is hooked up and plumbed into the voltage regulator. That way it will still be able to read. We were doing some tests yesterday on some sensors and stuff. And that's why this is unplugged. But there we go. Now that's in. So that's literally the only issue yet, is why we don't have gauges. What are you trying to do over here?
I weld that.
You just
the action plate to clear the spring.
You're just gonna axle dump it, or?
No, we got this, so when this is up, this will clear. Next step is get this hanger in place. So it needs to be over here.
Huh?
And then probably finish that off a little bit.
Probably bend this.
Yeah, that needs work, so I'll probably take the tip off. Cut a few inches off the tip so it's not over here. I don't want it in the bumper. So,
You could put a hole right here.
yeah.
And have it come out of that. Oh, that's further than what you had. So I will say, this thing runs absolutely fantastic. Runs, drives great, all that shit just is an electrical pain in the ass. So this thing's done. We're gonna throw the keys in the shop here. Thor is back. I know how you guys love Thor.
I don't want to announce this yet.
No, we're doing the 550 horsepower build.
Yeah, but I didn't want to announce that quite yet.
Well, now everybody knows.
Plus,
I don't know what that is.
down the line, to be honest.
So we'll get this shit. Let's sweep up first. We're going to be finishing this up. We're trying to get a 4-inch exhaust, straight pipe exhaust on the 6.4 Hemi here. We're trying to make it clear. I think he paid $100 for the exhaust or $50, so it wasn't like we need to reuse it. And then he just bought a muffler delete pipe just to get it to go longer. So probably all in all, into this whole project, like $90. And it does have 2 cats, actually. Okay, so there's, yep, so it has 2 cats, the muffler delete pipe, and then all the way down. So it's definitely plenty of quiet. It's going to sound really, really good. Hold on, I need to sweep that up. And then we're trying to do some bends here because to clear this thing and to clear that. So he got that bent very, very well, actually. I'm impressed. So now we're going to try to bend this because we want the tip to sit flush and come out like right about here is where we're shooting for. But Josh got a clutch, and where's your input shaft? And an input shaft. That is a terrible spot to put the input shaft, on the ground, but whatever. So we got an input shaft for the Nv4500. Take your bets on how long this thing's gonna last.
Not long.
But these are the first steps to make it over 500 horsepower. So you got a Valere, because South Bend is garbage.
5x12 injectors, hot rod lift pump.
Did all that stuff come yet?
No.
Okay.
Hasn't even shipped yet.
So this thing's gonna make 550 horsepower. He's gonna gut the bed and get rid of everything in there and just make it like a shell on the bed so he can lose a lot of weight. He's gonna get some aluminum Alcoas. Gonna do some serious weight reduction. No, I'm just
Profanity.
guys, he's gonna keep it heavy.
Swear word.
Sweating horsepower because that's what
Bad language.
12 valves do.
I'll fix that soon.
No, you won't. And then
It's not going to be hard.
you still have a car seat back here?
Yeah, I need to return it.
Your single ass needs to return that car seat.
Yeah.
Or is that for your new girlfriend? He's gonna go flip this thing around, and then this will be the last time I'm not standing there. You didn't have the welder set up. Oh God. I think it goes up there pretty nicely. Pipe.
Swear word.
He does that. What do we got going on over here? Nice 5-inch exhaust. Sick. No drive shaft?
Could you hand me that?
He's been handed. Sir. Oh, man. Alright. We're building an exhaust over there, and Tweedledee's decided that's perfect. We're going to put a clutch in. Valere dual disc. Where'd the dual disc go? Oh, it's over here. Valere dual disc. Beautiful. Way better than South Bend.
Street clutch.
Yeah, because South Bend sucks. So we're going to do this input shaft as well. Bearings, all the bullshit. So, waiting on him to do that. Custom-ish exhaust. Let's see if I can get that under there. So we're going to weld around all of that. Make sure the tip comes out. Ugh. Right about there. Minus a few inches, so it'll sit back like right about here. We're going to weld that up first, and then the exhaust is done. Now in a couple weeks, we're going to be getting rid of the turbo, the injectors, all that stuff's going to be brand new, replaced with bigger, better stuff. I don't know if he's going to reuse the factory manifold. I would hope not, but I will ask. Alright, here's where we're at. Looks pretty. That welder's ass. So to get a good weld out of it, the wire speed needs to be right about here, but then it keeps getting stuck in here. So that's why the welds look like
bad language.
So rather than dealing with these
Bad language.
welds, we just clamp both ends. This is good. It's hung. Redo these. Shut up, Josh. So that one's clamped.
Kim Jong-un?
Yeah, the welds, like I said, are absolute trash. I didn't do these, luckily. I didn't do those, but if any, the offer's open if anybody wants to come here and show us how to weld with that little thing. I saw the comments. So, but yeah, it's done. It's, avoids the, what is that, the spring? It avoids the spring, and then it's tight, so, oh, good. Oh, yeah, all right, well, let's hear it. That came out perfect. I mean, it could have went back a little bit further, but
I don't care. I just
needs a little cleaned off. There we go. That's perfect, right there. Cool. Keep coming. I don't get to hear it. 4-inch straight pipe. There's one cat on each manifold, or like behind each manifold, so it's not perfectly straight pipe. Let's make sure we're not hitting any exhaust parts.
how's that look in the back?
Oh, that clears plenty.
I want to jump on a little bit just to see.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. I pulled the tip back a little bit, so there. I think that looks a lot better. Yeah, it's all tight. Everything's tight.
Hook the battery, Steven? No. I'll take the starter out. Let's see if it's clear when I jump. I do or don't?
You got room.
You say don't.
Yeah, you're good.
Unless you're taking the starter out, you can leave it alone.
All right, let's hear what she sounds like. Hopefully it's not insanely loud. It even smokes like a diesel. I was wrong, that's loud. Pretty mellow. I mean, give it some time.
It's pretty when it goes into force on the road. It kind of, when the cap moves.
Oh, I forgot that it does that. That's got to sound interesting.
Right here, it sounded very annoying. There's two. It's tough.
Hatefully loud on the inside, but on the outside, it's absolutely brutal.
When you hear the
oh yeah,
guardrail or bridge or something.
stuck in traffic. That's what it sounds like with all the windows up. I mean, you can hear it, it's noticeable. But once you're cruising, I'd like to see it on the highway.
30 feet long, and you can't hear the exhaust barely.
Should do an axle dump now.
Yeah, this is perfect. It doesn't. If it gets annoying or anything like that, I can always put a muffler on
Pretty quiet for what it is. All right, time to sell it. 30 grand. Somebody wants it. Now that we're done with that, I had to come back to help this guy.
And it's like, I was about to lower it down.
It's 4 o'clock and I gotta go into overtime to help this guy. Overtime? It's 4 o'clock.
I've gotten 11 to 5.
What? No, I don't work many hours, bruh. Some of us don't work many hours. I don't want to work many hours. I have to cut out my swearing.
Really?
Yeah, people don't like my normal self. Tell everybody how our mother is, where we get the swearing from.
She's pretty bad.
She
doesn't get out a lot though, so it's just really to herself.
Yeah,
She's hateful.
she's very hateful.
Yeah.
Swears a lot. Used to build houses. Now doesn't build houses.
Acts like she drives a truck.
Dakota. We're doing a swap.
You really want this fucking thing or I'm gonna do it?